So hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are absolutely fine and sound, and in this video we'll cover the day 3 of the 5-day AI agent intensive course. So before we start, if you're new to this channel, do like the video and just subscribe the channel. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can join our membership. Now here is the complete course for all the day 1 and day 2. Basically, you have to come to the courses section and just open it. You can see complete solution for day 1 is here, day 2 is here, and it is basically a complete interactive solution. So like this, you have to see the solution. If you want to know how to set up the AI studio, you can watch this video, and if you are having any query, you can just watch the top FAQs video. Okay, so here all the things are here, and if you want to know about the event, you can watch this video. Now let's come to our main topic. So basically here we are in the day 3. Basically it's related to context engineering, sessions and memories. So basically in this unit we will basically build stateful agents and perform context management engineering, and after we'll be using the memory. So basically it's about the storage and generating basically queries using the history, like memory management you can say. So first of all, let's open the free assignment. So first thing you need to know that make sure your Kaggle account has verified phone number so that you are able to get the output over here. Now here click on edit my copy, or here you'll get edit option. You have to similarly you'll be getting one option, you have to just click on it. Okay, now here we are in the notebook editor. Now the first thing is that we have to add the API key. So come over here, add on secrets, and then you'll see the API key. If you are not seeing, then wait for a few seconds and then just click on add API key. Wait a second, it's not showing over here. Secrets. So yes, finally it's added. So if it is not showing, what you have to do, you have to first of all, let me explain the module. So here in the day 3 we'll know what are sessions and how to use them in our agent, and how to build a stateful agent and session and event, and how to persist the sessions in the database, context management and best practice for sharing session state. Now here one more important thing is that we don't have to submit the assignments. This is for practice only, and basically we have to run each shell one by one. Okay, and okay, so now let's get started. So basically first thing is that we have to set up our API key. For that you have to click on it, and then you will be redirected particularly to this page. Now here, if you have created the API key in day 1, day 2, then you don't have to create it because resources are limited. But if you want to create, okay, so here you have to click on create an API key, name the API key, and you have to just select any project or create the project. Just click on create project, and here you have to name the project also, and then create project, and it will ask to create the API key. Like it will ask like this, create key. Okay, once you create the project, so you have to create the key in case you haven't created it, and if you have already created it, you have to use the same thing. Copy the API key, come over here, click on the add-ons. Okay, this is the 3A. So here by default this is selected. So here if you are just starting for the new API key, you have to paste the API key over here and come over here, and here you can see the label is here. Okay, you have to do only when you are just basically only when you are creating a new API key. So you have to paste it and just save it. Okay, now here if you have already the API key from the day 1, day 2, you have to just directly come to add-on secrets, and then it will open over here. You have to just select this checkbox in case it is not selected. Now the first thing is that we will import the OS. One more important thing many people are facing, that if you're getting this kind of error, like like please make sure that you have added the Google API key to your Kaggle secrets. So if you are getting this kind of error, make sure this checkbox is selected. And if you are still getting the error, do one thing. You can see this factory reset, do it and just repeat the step as done in the video. If you want a specific video basically to set the API key, for that also I have made a video. You can watch this video. All the courses are present. You can check the description box. Now here we have to just cover this. So here we are covering this where it, yes. Now after that, after the API key setup is completed, we have to import the ADK tools. So just click on it and wait for it to get completed. You can see ADK components are imported. Now for you, it will take some time. So you have to wait before you proceed for the next step. Now we have to define the helper functions, which will help in handling the session creation and termination and retrieval and query processing. So for that, you can see we are having a runner instance. We have to run it to set it. So finally here you can see we have defined the helper functions also, and we have to define and configure the retry option. Basically retry option will help us to retry when there is issues like rate limits or when the service is unavailable. You can set the attempts, how many attempts you want to retry, and basically the delay multiplier, like after how much it should basically try the attempt. So here you can see if you are unable to see output here, over here, click on anywhere here and just see if the number is showing. That means the query is done. Now here we are in the session management section of 2. So basically the LLM you must be knowing are stateless. Okay, their awareness is confirmed by the basically the information you provide. Okay. So basically, an agent without proper context management will react to the current prompt without considering any previous history. Like if you want to travel to any country, you have just mentioned the country, but after that you want to visit any particular place. Okay, but if the LLM is not having the history, like which country you mentioned, if you directly write that where are the best places to visit here, then if the history is not managed, then it will just react randomly. Okay, like if you want to just visit Goa, okay, so if you just say best places to visit here, then it will, if the basically history is saved, then it will just share all the addresses, all the beaches, etc. But if it is not saved, then it will react randomly, like where you want to visit, etc. So this is the memory management, and memory management is short term also, long term also. Okay, so let's come to the session. So here a session is a container of conversation, and it carries the chronological history. Okay, chronological history, and records all the interactions. So like if you entered, like you want to cook a food, cook anything, just a sample recipe, and you want to know the ingredients. So if you write I want to cook X item, okay, so after that you just few hours or even instantly if you say that what are the recipe for it, so it may ask what you want to cook, but you have already asked in the first step that we want to cook this thing. So if the memory is not managed and history is not saved, it will become difficult for us to just manage the uh, basically get the prompt easily and output. So here for that, session is particularly tied to a user and agent. Okay, a individual session, you must have seen the session expired while you sign into Google also. Sometimes it gets auto signed in. So particularly a session is just sharing and tracking the history. Okay, so here the session events, you can say we have session event. So basically example of events is user input. You write anything, like you just ask to share the weather of this place, okay, today's weather of this place, or you share the audio or images, and then the agent responds with their reply. Now here you can see the tool call. So here the decision based to use the external tool or API, and the tool output the data which is returned from the tool. Okay, so here we can see the session state. It's just like a scratch pad. Basically you can say it's just like a bucket which stores all the data and updates dynamically all the data also which is needed during the conversation. For example, you want to generate the image, it will search for the image, store it, and just produce to you. Like if you want to just generate the same image, basically like you have generated a flower image and you need in the evening also with slight modification, like you need a image of rose flower, so it will just search from the scratch pad. Okay, that you asked in 4am that what is the flower about, and can you generate the rose flower also, so it will just search from the scratch pad and generate it. You can see here the diagrammatically representation Now, how to manage the sessions? Okay, so ADK offers the session manager and runner too. So basically, session service to store the management. Okay, it manages the creation, storage, and retrieval of data. Basically, you created it and you have created any prompt. Basically, you entered, I need an image of this flower. So it is just creating the image or basically about the location, and it is storing. Like if you have generated the query around 4 a.m. and you need it at 5 p.m. Okay, so you'll just type the same query and it will just retrieve the same data with same output. And there are different implementations for different needs also. Now runner, it manages the flow of information between us, basically the user and the agent, and it maintains the conversation history also and handles the context engineering. So here session, they have also shared an example. So a session is an entire notebook you must be knowing basically. And here events are individual pages on the notebook, and the session service is filling the cabinet, storing the notebook. Okay, you can see like a library also if we consider it as a book, and then the session service is just like library storing the book, and runner which is assisting managing the conversation. Okay, like if you need the book you can just basically take from the library. So let's implement our first stateful agent. Okay, so here you have to run it. So basically for the app name we are using default, user ID is also default, and session is also default. If you want to change you can change it accordingly, but as we are in learning stage, do not change anything. The model which we are using is Gemini 2.5 flashlight. Multiple models are there, pro, and basically I think 2.5 pro is also there. So we are using that basic model, that is basically lighter function. Now we are creating a LLM agent based on the 2.5 model, and we are naming it text chatbot. You can add a description also, you can see here. Now here we will be setting up the session management. So the session service is equal to in-memory session service, and then after that we are just creating a runner. So here the once the session is initiated, you can see here we have already run. So the stateful agent is initiated, and application name, username default, and using in-memory service. Now we are testing the stateful agent. So just run it. So you can see we have got the output. So it's just asking, hi, I am Sam. What is the capital of United States? So you can change it also. There is no need to change. I'm just sharing it. Capital of, basically, let's see whether it works or not. So you can see it's generating the output. For example, if I run again, you can see it's generating. So like this, we have to just prompt the runner, and here you can see all these things are here. Okay, so now here this is the optional testing. Okay, so here, so in case you want to verify that the agent forgets the conversation, like we have just asked this question. Okay, so what you need to do, we have to restart the kernel and run all the previous notebook and accept the 2.5 session. Okay, we have to run all these things. So wait a second. So here, the if you want to do this you can do it, but there is not a issue. Okay, so let's test it whether it remembers or not. So how to restart it? Let me restart the kernel. Okay, so if we come over here, the kernel is just restarting. So here, come over here and just authenticate one by one. So let's run. It's just setting up. It will take some time. Meanwhile, in case you haven't liked the video yet, like it. Also do hype the video too. So just wait for it. So finally this is also done. Now let's define the helper function. Let's run it. come over here to this, run all by one by one. So here they have answered except the session 5. Okay, so we have run up to here, and let's see whether it generates the output or not. So here you can see the memory management is not working because here I'm sorry I don't have access to the past history. But what we asked earlier, we have asked about the capital of the city, a capital of the basically states or basically country also. So we have asked that thing. So here you can see we have not got the output. Okay, it's showing I'm sorry. Now the problem is that the in real world a user should be able to refer to the past information and resume conversation. For example, I already run what is the capital of Mumbai, oh sorry, Maharashtra, or what is the capital of Punjab. So I want to know which is the best place to visit here. If I write which is the best place to visit here depending on our last conversation, then it will show this kind of error, but this is not code. You can see here, and in real world we need conversation history to just interact it. So let's activate it. So here persistent sessions with database session service. Okay, so here you can see the right session services. Here multiple session service are available over here, basically three: in-memory session service, database session service, and agent Indian sessions. So here you can see the use cases. First one is for development and testing, second one is self-managed apps, and third one is production of GCP. GCP means Google Cloud Projects. So here, sorry, platform, Google Cloud Platform. Now here you can see lost on restart. We have used in memory sessions which does lost on restart. Okay, it's quick prototype. Now here it's the second one is self-managed which survives a restart, and the agent engine sessions is fully managed and enterprise scale. So let's implement the persistent sessions. Come over here and run it. Now here we are creating a same agent, basically the LM. You can name the agent anything. Okay, so here basically it's the model is same and the name is same, the text chatbot. Now here we are using the SQLite database which will be created automatically, and then here you can see we have upgraded our sessions, and the now let's see the session survives or not. So here we are verifying it. So if I run this, you can see we have got the output for the capital of US. Now here if you want to just check it, basically stop the Kaggle notebook and kernel and restart it again. So here do not click on factory reset, come over here and run, and just click on restart. So now here we have to run all these except the third one. Okay, so let's come to the top and let's set our API key first of all, then the ADK components. It's again taking some time, do not worry about it. So here the components are imported. Now let's run one by one, and the retry option, and then come to the session management. Now here we have to run the 2.5 also. You can see we have got this output. Now do not run the 2.61. Okay, now let's come over here to the 3.2. I think 3.2, yes. So let's come to the 3.2, and we don't have to run the 3.3. Just come over here and okay, so let's run. You can see we are getting the output over here. Now let's verify again the data. You can see so here it does not tells the name. So it's showing over here that it does not share the personal information. So let's see. We have seen that it's saying that I don't have your personal information, including the name. So you can tell your name is okay. Now here how the events are stored. We are using the SQLite database to store the information. So here let's see. First we import the SQLite module and then we define it all these things. Okay, you can see the code and then we have to run it. You can see all this data like user, text chat. Okay, you can see user, what is your name? What is my name? Okay, we prompted it. Text chat, your name is Sam. You can see the output over here. Now we are here in the context compaction. Now we have to create an app for the agent. Okay, the first step is that we have to create the app and then we'll configure the context compaction. Okay, so it defines the two variables. One is compaction interval and overlap size. So here let's redefine our event connection app. So the app is research app compacting, and basically here you can see the compaction interval is set to 3 and overlap size is 1. Now the database URL you are using the same DB SQLite. So let's upgrade our research app. So you can see it is upgraded. Now let's run a demo. Okay, so here the first query is that what is the latest news about the AI in healthcare? And after that, basically here you can see we are using the healthcare term. So if you search about recent development in discovery, okay, this discovery, I'm not mentioning it because maybe YouTube may flag it. So basically it will tell about it. If you directly search it and if the history about healthcare is not shared, then it may just search and respond to random queries. Now here, tell me more about the second development like this. You can see here. So key discoveries of this is basically you can see the first output. Now here personalized medicine based on the second one. Okay, new development, personalized medicine is there, and then you can see the early detection is also here and all the things are over here. So you can see we are getting the output based on all this thing which is following the sequence. Okay, first it is telling the latest development and news, and then if any new, basically it's telling about the latest news about the AI in healthcare, and then it is telling any recent developments in the drug discovery too. So after that it's telling the second development. Basically this is telling about the new development and if there is any second development also. So tell me more about the second development. It shared the development and it's just feeding all the datas. Now here, if you want to know the more main companies involved in that, it's just listing. Basically, it started from here and ended over here. You can see all the output is also here. So here you can clearly see all the personalized data is here. Now here we have to verify the compaction session history. So you are using the user ID, session ID, and then it will just show it. So you can see the basically the event and data. Now here what we have completed, basically what we have completed is that we ran a standard conversation from outside and basically all things were correct. Now after that we have just used the background compaction, and here basically we have configured the app with the event compaction config and the runner. So now it is monitoring the conversation length history. Okay, so it's just once the basically the trigger is met, basically the threshold is met, the trigger, it triggers the summarization process in the background also, and then after that it verifies all the result. Now here we are using the more context engineering options in the ADK. One is the custom compaction and context catching. So here in the custom compaction it is a default summarizer, and here we can provide our own basically custom sliding window compactor. Okay, so here it will help us to just control the summarization prompt or even use a different specified LLM for that particular task. And context catching helps us to reduce the token size and static instruction. So let's come over here. So here the problem which we get during the context compaction, and how to overcome it. So here what we can do is we have to just process the new information across other sessions also. So how will work with the session state? Let's come to the section 5. You can see here. So basically we'll be just using the transferable characteristics of the custom tools using session state management. So basically the example is perfect example of information that it is introduced but referenced multiple times and should persist throughout the conversation. Like if you're searching for a country or city, then you need to know about the food, places to live. So it's need to be persistent throughout the conversation and basically user specific. Like if you want about the food, it should not throw the basically what we can say the capital, what is the capital, or basically if I'm asking the food, it should answer about the food and basically the location where it's a nearby food station. Okay. Now let's come over here and let's define the state labels. So here we are having the scope labels temp, user and app. Now here we are defining the tool which will just save the username, country and session state. Okay. So let's run it and see the output. So this is also completed and now we'll just create an agent with the session state tool. So the app name is default, user ID is default, and the model is again same Gemini 2.5. Now here we are creating again the same chatbot and you can see that agent with session state is initialized. Now here we are testing the session state. So here first it will ask how are you doing, what is your name, which country you are leaving, and then it will just generate it. So here you can see it's just generating. I am Sam, I'm pleasure to meet you. This is from the output of the LLM. Okay, so here we have completed and now we will be inspecting and retrieving the data. So here if we just check the data, if it is not saved it won't be shown over here. You can see now the username and the country is over shown over here in summarized state. Now here session state isolation will be running. Okay, so here we are just running a completely new session. Basically now the agent does not know about our name. So here you can see it's a fresh session. So here it's just asking for our name to tell. Okay. So basically why the agent is not knowing our name, because we are creating a fresh session. Okay. The older session is expired or we have closed it. Now we have to just cross session sharing. Okay. So here you have to run it. You can see cross session sharing, we have created a isolated session. So basically even if you create a fresh session, then also our data whatever we have asked, like you can see here name and user country what we have used earlier, it shared over different multiple sessions. Now even if you create a new session, your data will be shared and you'll be able to just view it. Like even if you just start a new chat, okay, like this. So here you can see if you want to clean up, you can clean it all the resources, and then you can see what we have learned. Basically we learned about the context engineering, sessions and event, persistent storage, session state and manual state management, and production consideration. We learned about how to assemble context for the LLMs. Now after that we learned how to maintain the conversation history, and then to make conversation survive the restart. Like earlier when we restarted the session it was not showing the output, but after restarting and just using the sessions and events we were able to access it, and with the persistent storage. Okay, like we used our SQLite. So here we have know how to track the structured data during the conversation. Basically structured data is about the country which was Poland and the name which is Sam. So here the manual state management is the we have tested it, and production. Okay, now here you need to know that there is no submission required, you don't have to submit it, and here you can see all these things are here. So we have completed the date 3 first module, and second module will be live also. So make sure to check it out and to like the video and subscribe the channel. And many of you are saying that when we save the basically version, okay, it just basically what it does, we get some error. So no need to worry about it. The session is already saved. You can see here draft is saved. So even if you are able to get error, do not worry. It's already saved. And if you want, you can download also, I think so. So yes, you can see you can download the notebook also personally. So there is no issue. Do like the video and subscribe the channel. If you want to complete the other modules, you can refer to here and just complete it. Okay, you can refer over here and just complete it. So this was the quick thing I wanted to share. Do like the video and subscribe the channel, guys. Have a great day ahead, and let's come to the day 3 3B module over here. So thank you. Have a great day ahead.